we have understood why Europe considers so important this technology, because we are not just speaking about to heat our homes, saving energy, but we are opening a lot really of perspective. Perspective also for industry, and so we are going to open now the first roundtable. The title of the roundtable is Energy Sustainability and the Integration of Renewable Energy in Heating Use for Residential Existing Building. Very long title. The moderator before, Thomas Novak, General Secretary of the European Heat Pump Association. Please. Oh, yes. Then I would like to invite here on the stage Ivan Benzoni, R&D Director of Robur. Paolo Pininfarina, President of Pininfarina, which is a very well-known brand.
Good afternoon.
And finally, Eric Siegel, Vice President of Engineering, Bosch Thermotechnics. Mr. Novak, I remember 40 minutes.
Yes, I know.
This is my job.
Yes, it's good. Thank you very much. And I would like to start with some considerations from our statistics that we look at to put you into the picture, because we have now learned that this technology that is up to be developed here is perfect and very well suitable for the future of a changing energy infrastructure. But we have also heard that, it's very efficient, but the Commission that has given the money to support this project has also labeled it as best not available technology in the study that was frequently cited by VHK. So I'm glad that they are now putting action towards by giving money to making this better and to changing this situation. I have brought some slides from our market overview. I work for the European Heat Pump Association. The European Heat Pump Association represents the heat pump sector in Europe, and I'm proud to say that we also have always included and represented a gas absorption technology. There was a lot of support by Luigi in the first row, and thank you as well for inviting me. But it was important for us, even though in the numbers that we will show, you will not see it. So here you see it's a truly European organization, 92 members now in 22 countries throughout the whole value chain. There are many, quite a few of you are members already. Those that are not, I invite you to join to make your voice heard much better in Europe. In terms of the numbers that we are collecting, so what does the heat pump market look like? We look at now 20 countries, 20 markets, plus China, Canada, Japan, and the US. And we look at different categories. And the categories are those that were mentioned. You see here that we can roughly categorize the heat pump market in 6 segments. It's easy to say, yes, it's between new and old, and that is mainly categorized by the energy demand, by the energy supply temperature that you have to deliver. And we have also heard that the electric heat pumps are probably much better suited for the new building market, and the to-be-developed gas absorption heat pumps, at least in their smaller capacities, are much better geared towards the renovation market. But then we have also the residential multifamily, where I understand that gas absorption heat pumps have a market already, and we have industrial users, and that are really only upcoming now and are also only recognized as being a potential market for heat pump technology. And what you see next will be that the numbers that I show you are mainly focusing on heat pumps that are sold in the new building segment, and that only very little, we cannot precisely say that, but from our understanding it's between 10 and 15% go into the renovation segment. What we see here is the development of the market over the last 5 years, and you can see that it has grown quite steadily, with one big exemption. There was a very overheated market in 2008, and the markets were punished for that. Actually, there are several reasons for that. I will not explain today, but there was a drop in sales, and now we are actually seeing light at the end of the tunnel. all manufacturers that I talk to, and I don't know if Bosch and Robur can support that, but see an increase in sales in 2011 of roughly 10%, 11%, 15%, some even over the numbers shown here. What you also see here, and you don't see it on this slide but the next, is that there is a huge shift in the energy source that is used. It goes from geothermal energy, that was the original starting point, simply because that was most efficient, so it could easily be justified, to using much more air as energy source. And that's also a result of increased research and development, and of course of the availability of air, but also of another trend that we see in the European Union, that's a reduction of energy demand in buildings. And that's something that will actually also pose a threat to this product, I think, in general. What you also see here is that there is sanitary hot water. A very old application of heat pump technology was used in the 1980s predominantly. There was several 10,000 sold across Europe. It's coming back now as a result of building regulations, but also as the result of being very simple to add to a gas condensing or even oil boiler. What you don't see here, and that's why I titled the presentation like this, where are the gas absorption heat pumps? Are the gas absorption heat pumps? Now you can blame me, I made it yellow, so it's more difficult to see, but the yellow shape will be rather small. So it's on top of it, and it includes also the gas motor and compression units, and we will see here that we have a couple of thousands. You have to see 2010 is the second bar on the left side. And again here I have to say this is probably a very limited picture of Europe, because it's based on data from Robur and from Bistria, and it doesn't cover all countries, because simply in many member states there is no organized gas heat pump industry. And they're here and there separately organized, but usually they're not part of the big groups, I would say. So again, I think the heat pump industry is strongest when it's united, so I ask you to make your voice heard. This I will not explain in detail, but the message is there is a good environmental benefit from all heat pumps, and you have seen previously that the heat pumps can achieve efficiency in primary energy of around 160%. So that's much better than a gas condensing, than an oil, and not to forget also than a coal burner, because we are talking about EU27 and Eastern Europe. Remarkably, Poland, you said, they use a lot of coal, and so we have a double dividend from heat pumps, because it's not only more energy efficient, but also you avoid emissions at the point of operation. And one thing that I think is important to mention is that even though we consider that this technology has all these benefits, the Commission and the member states are not really recognizing it. What you see here is a picture that is an evaluation of the National Renewable Energy Action Plans. That's the result of the Renewable Energy Directive from 2009. It must now be implemented in all the member states. What you don't see is heat pumps. The orange part, you know, the small dust particles at the bottom of all the graphs, that's what member states think heat pumps can contribute towards their renewable targets. And that's why it's important, I think, for us to stress that we can do much more. And what you don't see completely here is that the majority of what member states believe can be done in the future to reach their targets is biomass. Now, I'm not sure if we can achieve all this, what member states want to achieve with biomass, but if it doesn't work, then we should be very well prepared to step into the gap and to say heat pumps are here, and we are working towards making them applicable throughout all application scenarios. With that, I close my introductory statement. We have a vision as an association. We think that heat pumps should become one of the most prominent heating, cooling and hot water technologies for the future. And I'm glad that with the gas absorption heat pump, we get, as Mr. Schosser said, another child in the family that will help us cover additional segments of markets that we cannot cover up to now. What we can get in the end is future cities, and you know that the European Commission is giving a lot of money now on the Future Cities initiative, future cities that can be heat pump cities. And we don't think they can, but they will be heat pump cities. So with that, I would like to open the discussion, because I'm very honored of having this panel of contributors. So we leave that. I think it's a good picture for the background. And we look a bit, I think, at the market development. So how can we change? How can we get more heat pumps into this picture so that if we meet again in 36 months at the end of this project, that we don't have just a small yellow bar at the end of these bars, but that we can see, that we can show them with 10, 15,000, yeah, I don't know if we can turn it around, but 10, 15,000 would be, I think, a good goal. And my first question goes to Robo as the coordinator, so I think you have the advantage. And I would like to know that what do you think are the main challenges towards the smaller, more cost-efficient heat pumps with a capacity suitable for individual houses and apartments? What needs to be done to bring them sufficiently into the marketplace?
The main challenge which we will face in this Heat for You project will be to provide a wider range of modulation of the output capacity to follow the residential market application. Today, current GHP technology has been optimally designed for cascade application in combination with peak boilers. A residential market will require a wider range of output capacity of modulation to follow the load profile of the building, because the heat pump will be the single heat generator in application, and the ability to follow the building load of the structure will be one of the key points to provide high efficiency during the high number hours of partial load running condition, which we will have the heat pumps. This will be one of the key features. We will have to improve the efficiency not only in a specific point due to standard or to be comparable with competitors, but to improve the seasonal performance factor, which will be the main key factor to provide high efficiency and high renewable energy. Another key point will be the reduction of the electrical power consumption, which will affect also the seasonal performance factor. And for residential application, the reduction of the current electrical consumption, which is already negligible for the gas absorption technology, must be reduced to improve the seasonal performance factor. And the last point will be the noise reduction of the technology to face the residential market. This is the main challenge I see for the Heat for You project.
Maybe one additional question, the sizing part?
Obviously, we will start from the current status, from the current shape of the GHP technology, and we will have a scale down of the seal system and all the components, and we will work on the factor forms with Pininfarina to achieve a product which will be also sexy for the market. This is the idea.
That leads me to my second question to Bosch Thermotechnik, Mr. Ziegler. With the known advantages of gas absorption heat pumps, where do you see the main market segments and country markets for this type of technology for the near and medium-term future?
As normally we start then to say, okay, we have a high efficiency, primary energy efficiency, gas-driven. So automatically, everywhere where you have a good gas grid and where you have today already gas heating appliances, these are the predominant markets. And of course, from market size, it starts with UK, not ending with Italy, but all these countries, UK, Netherlands, Germany, France, Italy, etc. We had it already in the press conference also that the Middle and Eastern European markets are growing because of better gas infrastructure. So also there we see, of course, potential. But maybe I can come back to the challenges. You listed many of them. And one topic is, of course, to enter and to have then a niche to a segment. But when we talk about having really a replacement of today's state-of-the-art technology, then I would say that we need further steps, especially there where we are influencing the infrastructure of a household. For example, in Germany, we have cellars with huge space, so it is not a problem to have then storage tanks included. They buffer then, and then I do not have even a problem with modulation or the dynamic. But in England, the houses are much smaller. In Netherlands, they even do not have a cellar to put a bigger system. So these things we have then to challenge and to develop further when we really want to come from a segment to a mass market where we are then talking about a successor technology of the today's condensing, maybe as a second step. And then of course it is all about the why should someone as an end customer do this? Of course someone is ecological friendly, then from his point of view you want to save energy. But to reach then a mass market again, then it is about the total cost of ownership. And there we are talking then immediately what is the pricing of the energy, what is there the development, and of course the product cost. And that is maybe a chicken egg. When you're not starting, you do not get quantity. We need a higher quantity to get volume effect, to get the cost down.
Yeah, I agree very well. And if this, well, my next question goes to Mr. Pininfarina. And when I read Pininfarina, I rubbed my eyes, I have to say, because with joy, then I cried, because I have seen many heat pumps, and many of them are dead ugly. So
many of them
are dead ugly. So apart from that, obviously the consortium gives you the role of designing the internal components better. Will we also see much better, much more aesthetic heat pumps in the market? Will the glamour of a Ferrari shine on a heat pump technology in the future?
Well, of course, thank you for the question. I would not like to have people expecting that we are designing a Ferrari for the garden or for the terrace. We are talking about a very technical product. We are talking about mass market, but what is important is that we are talking about total innovation. So it's a product that does not exist. So this is the real challenge for us, for me as a designer. I'm not frightened because it's a part of our job to make everything we do is innovative, but in this case the rate of innovation is very high because this product does not exist for the residential use. So it's very exciting, this project. I am glad that I've been selected to be part of a European team. Because I assume that all the partners recognize Pininfarina as a European designer, so a symbol of European design that goes ahead from Italian design in this case. So really I would like to commit in doing a design that is flexible, so that is good for the garden, but it's good for the terrace, it's good for the old, it's good for the new, it's good for the city, it's good for the country. So, of course, with a certain degree of flexibility that we will discuss and decide together according to the briefing, with the briefing, so how many models, how many sizes, and the places and so on. But what is important is that this has to be innovative but elegant. Also, it's something that has to be in line with the architecture, the European architecture, the different types of European architecture. So, classical means it's very different from a Ferrari. It's another briefing, but it's very, very challenging. So I promise you the total commitment.
Well, I'm very much looking forward to that. And this idea of European design, which means it should be appealing to everybody, brings me back again to these market questions. Where should this technology be? And we have heard two messages on the slides that I have seen. One says, this is a good product for markets where the electricity grid is unstable. Obviously, that applies to a certain set of countries in Europe. The others say, no, it's a good product for markets where there is enough of a gas grid. And then, of course, there's a shared group of countries that have both. Is that Italy? Because I understand that the majority of products are today sold in Italy. But where do we go? Where do we go from this product for the future of market developments?
Concerning the electrical grid, this kind of product is starting from cooling. which is very attractive for areas where there are hot climate condition and poor electrical grid, making the absorption cooling a right solution for this kind of situation. If we think about heating, absorption heating, this is based in totally different fundamentals. It's high efficiency in cold climates. It's high output capacity and the low electrical load make it an outstanding solution for North European market, such as Netherlands, France, and Germany. Its negligible electrical consumption don't affect the national electrical grid. And this is a key point of this technology if we think to long-term perspective. So I think that in both application, cooling and heating, this could be a suitable product.